To coach or not to coach your salespeople is not the question. There's just too much evidence to deny the ROI of coaching your sales teams. I could cite the CEB research that shows that salespeople who are coached at least 3 hours a month achieve an average of 7% over quota. But in today's highly competitive and fast-paced environment, is that really enough of a return for you to scale growth? If not, then you might be interested in the data of over 1 million salespeople and the managers they report to that shows that managers who spend at least 50% of their time coaching and have been trained on how to coach have salespeople who are 49% stronger than those who report to managers that don't know how to coach and don't do it very often. I have personally seen salespeople go from on-plan to President's Club to the $1 Million Club because of coaching. And it's not just the revenue that's impacted by coaching. It also impacts the retention of your salespeople and your customers. So if it's not a question of if you should coach, the question then is, how will you coach? And what exactly is coaching? And how is it different from training? Training, it's typically done in a one-to-many environment. Ideally, not treated as an event where you try to cram in as much information as possible and down their throats, and then leave your team to figure out, how does this apply to my day-to-day activities? It doesn't work because 90% of that information gets lost due to what psychologists call the forgetting curve. It's the reason why billions of dollars are lost in sales training every year. Training that is treated as a continuous process and is broken down into micro-learning chunks is better and ideal when it's combined with coaching. Training can answer the question of, do they know what to do? Whereas coaching will answer the question of, can they do it? And more importantly, will they do it? Not a question of whether you should coach, then how is it that you start? First, you have to create the coaching environment that your salespeople want to opt into. To do this, you have to start by hiring salespeople who are willing to be coached and will apply it, are optimistic, and highly motivated, and finally will take responsibility for their own outcomes. They must also be committed to not only learning everything about your product and business, but everything about your buyers. With these types of salespeople, it should be relatively easy to guide them through the process of setting personally meaningful goals that will drive them to step outside of their comfort zones and do whatever it takes ethically to achieve sales success. If you've given your salespeople an objective evaluation of their mindsets and their skill sets, it's much easier for your salespeople to know where they need the most help. A coaching process that is driven by your salespeople is going to feel much more relevant to them than one that's imposed on them without their input. Join me on our weekly live sales management labs, where other sales managers come to learn how to motivate, coach, and hold their teams accountable for incredible results.